Hey everyone, welcome back to Peter's Prism. I'm going to try something a little new today, and I have invited someone onto the channel to talk about style for larger guys. I want to introduce Eugene Park, who runs this amazing Instagram feed called Euge.Park. That's EUGE.PARK. Link in the description below, so make sure you check him out and give him a follow. Eugene, maybe introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
Hey guys, I'm Eugene Park. I'm creating content just talking about fashion as a bigger guy. I think fashion should be fun and I think it should be for everybody. And I truly believe that. I think for me, when I look at the platform and I see a lot of people who don't look like me, it's hard to know how to get dressed. I'm 5'9", I'm not the tallest guy. I'm also like heavier set. And so I typically wear like a double XL on tops. I wouldn't say I'm like the biggest guy because I've gotten some comments about that, but I think I'm cuddly is what I would say. And I think that fashion should be fun. And I think it's for everybody. And I think it shouldn't be an intimidating space. And I'm really trying to help guys realize their style and what they like and be confident in what they wear.
Yeah, that's a great explanation, and I agree with you that fashion and style and clothing should be fun. I've actually been pretty hesitant to approach this subject because I'm not actually that large, but I personally have size issues myself because I'm not an off-the-rack, ready-to-wear guy. Oftentimes, I have to get a lot of the stuff that I buy tailored. I feel like the market for most fashion that we're familiar with is designed for a very generic middle ground size that is based on skinny tall guys.
When brands make clothes, they make it at mass quantities and they make it at this like average size, and that really isn't representative like of all the body types that you'll see just in the world, right? And so for me, yeah, definitely when I try stuff on, I've kind of found tips and tricks for myself on like what do I need to prioritize as a bigger guy to make sure that the clothes fit the way I want. So if you like go by standard sizing, I'm like a 36, 38 waist on average. Depends on the brand. And but the thing is like because I also have like bigger legs, I like my pants to fit not super slim because it's uncomfortable for me for one. And two, I just think personally I think a relaxed fit looks better for myself. So for me, I'll sometimes go up a waist size to make sure I prioritize my legs and fit the way that I want because I know that the waist is something I can easily take in at a tailor, which is much cheaper and easier to do than asking them to take an entire leg in and kind of recut the cloth. If people go to stores and they can't fit into it, they shouldn't be discouraged by that because it's not necessarily designed for people like us, like just regular people who aren't models. I think it's more about, hey, how do I take these like ready to wear garments, but customize it to fit my body? And as you kind of develop your own style, you'll know what sort of fits that you like and how you like things to sit. And so when you know that, you're able to make smarter choices that are more efficient and cost effective as well to be able to tailor like the right parts.
It's not about you adopting this idea that style only work for skinny tall guys. I think you have to like kind of reframe the narrative and make it about clothing that fits your body in a way that flatters your body and that makes you feel good about what you're wearing, right? So it's just a matter of applying certain principles in terms of how you're shopping or like little things that you have to do to make the clothes fit you a little better, like this idea of buying a size up in pants and then taking in the waist, and it's a simple alteration. Like that's a easy tip, I think, for a lot of guys to be able to follow. So we're going to talk about some design principles that Eugene and I have agreed upon with regards to larger guys and style. We're also going to talk about some style icons that we think really kind of embody the idea of really expressing yourself through your clothing. And then we're going to offer a little bit of practical advice in terms of what you can do in your day-to-day to make your clothes like really sing. We'll also talk about some finishing touches, things like jewelry and grooming, I think can be important. Yeah, we'll just get into it.
I think first off, like there's this oversized trend that's been happening for a long time. Guys like oversized things. One, it's comfortable, kind of hides the belly, and I understand the perspective on that. But I do, in my opinion, if it's too big, that's not a look that I like because it looks like I'm like drowning in the fabric. So I think structure is important. For me as a bigger guy, I pay a lot of attention to like how things sit on my shoulder. Because that tends to be a little bit wider for me on my body. So then, and I think that if I get the shoulder right, it'll kind of drape down naturally across the rest of my body. Whereas if I get the shoulders too tight, then I think it feels too tight and uncomfortable really across other areas like the chest or the belly and things like that. In my opinion, when it comes to tops like t-shirts or button ups like this, I think the shoulder is what's really important. I don't
Yeah.
necessarily wear my true to size because it all comes down to like my measurements as an individual too.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's an important thing to acknowledge that from brand to brand, sizes can vary wildly. Like a small in J. Crew could mean nothing in another brand.
Yeah, like if I go to Japan, I'm probably like a 10XL. Like I don't even know what I would wear. I don't even know if they'll have garments for me. Size is not universal, and I think the no matter what size you are as an individual, it's really important to know your measurements. Especially like me, I shop online a lot. Like I don't have as many access to all the brands that I like in person for me to go. So like knowing your measurements is huge. Know how it's going to fit me because it's like the numbers are, they're hard numbers.
I have like this checklist of all of my measurements: shoulder, pit to pit, torso, waist, inseam. Yeah, all of that is super important. So basically, I think to be safe, you should
Yeah.
find garments that fit your natural shoulder, right? And probably go up or down depending on the size and how it sits on your shoulders, and like kind of gauge like how it's working on your torso, right?
Yeah, I think all of this to say, and the reason why it's not a straight answer is because everyone's measurements are different. So if I were
Yeah.
to give any practical advice, it really is that you should know your measurements. The best way to do that is like take a shirt I really like, lay it on a table, and I measure everything, shoulder to shoulder, pit to pit, the length, and like all of those things. Like if you have a shirt that you like and you want to kind of make sure they fit that way, that's the best way to do it. You can't just rely on a brand size or it looks like that on that person, but it'll look different on me because I have a different body than them, and that's just the reality. So the best way to find clothes that fit for you is knowing your measurement.
Good tip. Let's talk about the idea of dividing your body into thirds vertically.
I'm a big fan of high-waisted pants. I know not a lot of big guys are comfortable with it, and I understand the fear. It's sort of like, why would I wear pants? Because a lot of time with high-waisted pants, like people tuck in their shirts, right? And I do that as well. So it's kind of like, aren't I just drawing attention to my stomach? Doesn't that look weird? And so like I get it. Like it's not for everybody. I'm not saying you all have to do it, but I think when I take a step back and look at something like let's say a sports logo, like there's always something about balance. So when you think about an outfit, like having the top third of being like your top, right, and then the two-thirds being your leg, it naturally makes anybody, no matter how tall, how big you are, your legs look more elongated and you look a little bit taller. And so that's and like over time, like tucking in my pants and things, it just became more comfortable for me and it made me feel more confident in who I am. That's why I like wearing that style. It's like there's so many things to try to then experiment and feel, find what feels like you. But I think that visually, whether we're talking about proportions or whatever, it all comes down to balance. And does it feel like a cohesive, balanced, like it looks nice when things
Right.
kind of feel like they're balanced.
Because I have very short legs, it's important for me to wear pants that are at my navel or slightly below my navel because of all the things that you just said. Dividing your body into like two-thirds to one-third, two-thirds bottom to one-third top, I think really makes a difference in elongating your legs and making you look a little bit more balanced, as opposed to cutting yourself completely in half. It does not look super flattering.
Also, for bigger guys who might be insecure about like their belly, like right, like if you think about if you wear pants at your navel, like you said, it kind of conceals a little bit of the bottom part of your belly. So it actually also makes you look a little smaller, in my opinion. Like if you're able to hide that right, rather than wearing pants like right at your hips, and then it kind of bunching up the belly on the sides. If you can kind of imagine that, So it's like it's also functional. Like for me, it's functional, it's comfortable, and it just looks better. So it's like a win-win-win on like why I like high-waisted pants. And I love tucking in my shirt. I think as a shorter guy who I also have a longer torso and shorter legs, just naturally, I think I feel better in it.
What is your feeling about pleats on pants?
As a guy, I have bigger legs, so I'm a big fan of pleats. I'm a fan of anything that gives me more comfort. That's the other thing. A lot of my friends who I think are interested in dressing better, they would ask me like, well, "Aren't you or do you get uncomfortable in the clothes you wear?" But it's actually funny because it's counterintuitive. It's actually way more comfortable to wear pants that are like fit my leg and give me room. And so like pleats is a natural, easy way to do that. And I just think it also looks nice. Like it's easy to wear it in a casual way, just like a t-shirt or like a jacket or undershirt and a shirt. So you don't have to go like I think I used to think that's like oh like super formal or whatever, but even the topic of balance of like taking something really formal like pleated trousers and something casual like a t-shirt, if you balance that right, it's an outfit. It looks good, and I think that goes to the piece that we're talking about of proportions and balance. It's all about I think it comes down to balance.
I love pleated pants. I think when they sit at your natural waist, they can be very, very flattering. Any other thoughts on design principles? Anything else guys should keep in mind?
One thing when I think about design, at least for outfits, is I actually think about things in like lines a lot. So, for example, like if I were to wear this same button-up shirt, but button it differently and kind of create different lines, it makes me look really different. So the obvious one is I could tuck in my pants, where wear high waist pants and kind of do the 2/3. Like that's a line in my mind where my waist is. But let's say I only top the top button and left everything open, it kind of creates more like an A shape. So it naturally, for me, like when I think about it, it kind of draws my eye to kind of more my neck or like face area rather than my midsection. So I think it's like when I think about like structure, I think about it in lines a lot. But that's how I like to think about it and kind of try to make more interesting shapes with like how I would style something, whether it's the same shirt but I button it different.
Yeah, I agree. I think to me what you're expressing is that when you pull a look together, you should not only be intentional about the pieces that you choose and how they work together, but about the shapes that they create, how that kind of works together. I think we should talk about some of these style icons that we've identified. So the first one, to me, it's a no-brainer, and a lot of people have talked about it and written about it, and that is Matty Matheson. Matty Matheson, if you guys are not aware, he's a Canadian chef. He's on the hit Hulu series The Bear. He's a restaurateur. He's an actor. He's a musician. And also an internet personality, obviously. And yeah, I think this guy just exudes style from every pore of his body. And I kind of want to get into why. Do you have thoughts, Eugene, about Matty Matheson and his style?
What I love about Matty Matheson is he's like unapologetic about who he is. It's like even the most fit models sometimes would probably be too insecure or wouldn't wear certain things that he does. He's authentic to who he is, and it's this sort of like carefree front fun. He also has a lot of interest. That means he has a lot of range in his style. I think for that reason, I think he's such a icon to look up to, and I love the confidence that he braces regardless of his size. I hear a lot of things like, oh, I wish I could dress like that or whatever. But I think that's the truth. Like it really isn't like a external thing about how your body is. It's like who are you? Like who do you want to be, or who do you want to portray, or how do you want to portray your personality? And that's what's so great about clothes for me. You can express that. When I think about him, there's so many images that come to mind that it's like he has a huge range of style.
I agree. I think to me, he embodies the idea of sprezzatura, which is this sort of nonchalant kind of personal style. Like he exudes that kind of confidence, and I think it's because it comes across to me as like he doesn't give a fuck about what he's wearing. Pull together an outfit in whatever way that he wants to, that he's comfortable in, and he doesn't care what you think. He doesn't care like how it looks on his body because it works for him. And
Yeah.
that level of confidence shines through like whenever I see pictures of him on the internet. Like, let's talk about this first look. He is wearing, it kind of looks like he's wearing a little bit of a chore coat
Yeah, yeah.
that is actually buttoned at the top, like you said, like kind of creates this like A shape. And I love the color blocking that he's doing here. It's like red, white, and blue.
Oh.
I love the sneakers too. Like I definitely would not wear sneakers like that if I was wearing an outfit similar to this, but I don't know, it somehow works.
I also love that he's mixing like like the rule of like, oh, if you wear a black, it's not a black belt, then you have to wear black shoes. I love that he's like, I feel like everything he does, he kind of just like organically challenges these
Yeah.
rules. Because I'm not going to prescribe by that, which is what I respect so much about.
Also his tats. His tats are like really cool.
Yeah, yeah. He uses color really well. I think in that like the way he picks his stuff.
Let's talk about how he cleans up for awards and the red carpet. Like these three looks where he's wearing some variation of a tuxedo. I think this is super fascinating because like he looks like he exudes the same kind of personality, but in like totally different clothing.
I love that he's just like pairing that with like not a traditional tie and like these sunglasses and just like or those cowboy but like he just like totally rocks this look of mixing different styles and not being afraid to like draw attention to areas that I think a lot of guys would be intimidated to do.
Yeah. I think that's because I think it works really well because he throws caution to the wind and he's more interested in like his own personal expression of style as
Mhm.
opposed to like thinking about it in terms of rules. I love the tux on the right, the black
Uh-huh.
and white one.
Same.
Yeah.
I love that he wore it open and kind of like the bow tie thing. Also, the one in the middle is interesting. You know that like lapel, like it's so like that's the first thing I noticed. But I think it's like he just has really interesting ways of like displaying these like lines that kind of for me draw my eye to different parts of his outfit. I think it's so interesting.
hmm And let's talk about this last look, which is kind of I don't know, kind of basic Matty Matheson, right?
Yeah. I think this goes to his like love for vintage is what I would assume, right? He wears like there's like is that like an armpit hole? Like it looks like he's had this shirt for a very long time. Um, the are those work? I think they're like work pants. Yeah, they're like double knees, right? Like I like how they just kind of look thrashed, and I think that's what I really respect. Well, as someone who loves vintage clothes myself, and has been exploring a lot in that, like I love that he can get dressed out to the nines, you know, all the way down to like just like vintage casual easy tee that he would wear like anywhere with his friends or if he's at home or whatever.
Exactly. He looks really comfortable. So let's talk about this next guy. His name is Vitor Arruda. So he is an influencer who I think kind of focuses on this idea of like uh, body positivity in regards to men's style. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think he's really first of all, I think he's so smart. Like the way he does his page, it's so focused, gets at a real like issue that's relatable for a lot of people. And I think his whole series is like, you know, he shows a picture of a guy with an outfit and he says, "Is this a fit or is he just skinny?" And then he, you know, does it with like no clothes on, right? So it's like a very vulnerable thing that catches your eye, and then he like does these cuts of him putting together that or his version of that outfit, and almost every time I'm like, dude, he looks better than the original. And I think it's as a bigger guy, I love to see that. I love seeing that kind of representation.
I think it goes back to what we were saying earlier, which is you can find like great style in your looks. You just have to find the proportions that fit your body. It's not about like this look can only work on a skinny guy. It can totally work on you, but maybe not the same sizes.
He nails the proportions part. You're so right about that.
So
Totally.
let's talk about this first look. He is wearing these kind of beige, light brown pants, and I think they're like pony hair loafers. Yeah, pony hair loafers, and it kind of looks like a linen shirt.
I think so. I think it looks summery, and you know he's rocking high waisted pleated pants, right?
Yep.
Like he kind of has that like full break that kind of like fully drapes over his loafers. It's like a summery. You kind of look like you're on vacation or you're really wealthy type of look, and I think he does it so well. But it also just looks like he's not trying too hard. To your point, you know, like it just looks good on him because he knows how to nail the proportions. I think.
Right. He looks absolutely relaxed. It looks really good. I love those shoes. The second look, let's talk about this one. It's this layered kind of look with a tank and a camp collared shirt, which I love, and this red baseball cap and these pleated shorts, and white socks with these. What kind of shoes are these?
I can't. Are those like the Tyrolean mock toe, like kind of like pair
Yeah,
boots?
kind of like pair boots. Yeah. So what do you think of
Yeah.
this?
Um, One is I like his usage of color. Like he plays with white, but also cream really well. So if, like his socks and his undershirt are both like more of a clear, like a clean white, right? And then his shoes and his shorts are more like that cream color, which I think blend really well. Um, I also think the debate. that has been going on forever on like what's the right length of shorts. It seems like he kind of just has different short variations as well, and I think it really works with this again like cropped shirt. I think if his shorts were too short, it would look a little bit I don't know, like Boy Scouty. I don't know if that's the right word. So it's like again, like I think he's just like nailing proportion where he balances out like with a longer short and with a like a shorter crop top, and I think that's so smart.
Yeah, I like this look a lot because again, he looks relaxed and comfortable. It doesn't look fussy. It looks really kind of pulled together in a very natural kind of way. Also, this wearing this tank underneath a open camp shirt, I think, is a really great way to get some breathability into your
Yeah,
outfit if it's like in the middle of summer.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I love that. Yeah, because it gets hot. You know, we get hot, so we need to be able to open it. And I think a lot of guys might be like, "Well, I don't want to expose my stomach, or isn't that too much skin?" No, like if you just kind of get the right fit around it, no one will even know. Like it just looks good, and you're not as hot, so it's like double win.
So this last look from him, he's wearing the same shoes, but now he's got these like really light wash denim trousers and this kind of darker rinse jacket with a crossbody sling. I like that he is wearing these like very wide-legged jeans. I think it's really flattering. They're not like enormous, but they are definitely like wide leg, which is a thing right now.
Yeah, they're definitely baggier than his other like trousers at the top, so it is like a more of a choice. And again, I think because it's so voluminous on the bottom, he picked like a more fitted, structured cropped jacket that kind of complements it really well. So yeah, I think this guy is just so good at styling. I don't think I've seen a bad outfit from him to be honest. So it's kind of like this guy just knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I agree. Well, he's not going to put on bad outfits on his Instagram feed. Okay, next guy is David Lane, and he is also an influencer, and he is also somebody who caters to larger guys, and he is also the founder and owner of David Lane Design, fine watch straps and vintage watches.
Hmm.
Let's talk about this first look, which I
Yeah,
pulled from the Wall Street Journal. I love this look.
same, same. I love the like just the brown and blue, like the denim shirt, the
Classic.
hat. Yeah, it just looks so good. And I again, this guy like proportions. We talk about this a lot. Like he's just so good at it. And so I would argue some people might think, oh, that's just like too like it's too high, it's too short on the shirt, so it makes him look bigger. But I just think he looks so good in this outfit, and clearly he's comfortable in it because he's done this like for a long time. And he just has really great outfits, man. I think this guy does like menswear really well, like formal, kind of more clothes.
I love the pants of the suit because they're high waisted. But I also love that he took care to hem the pants where there's almost no break. It's just like the ever so slightly smallest amount of break because they're cuffed. And the pants just drape beautifully on him. And yeah, it's super, super flattering. And I love this color combination. You cannot go wrong with like chambray or denim and like a brown jacket and pants. Like, just looks so good.
Yeah, it makes me want to try to copy this outfit.
Um, next outfit, again with the tank underneath the larger shirt. This is a good look.
I love the fisherman sandals. I don't know how you feel about it, Peter, but it's
Yeah, they're
just
cool.
perfect summer shoe. Yeah, I like it. Just it looks good. I think the only thing that I don't know that I would have chosen personally is like the undershirt being that like color. It is interesting because it feels like very like gray slash blackish color, but I don't know. I think I would have gone for more contrast there, like a white or something. That would have been my only like thing that I don't know if I think I would have done a little bit differently, but he looks amazing.
Yeah, I think well that brings up another point that I wanted to make, which is that you can experiment with color, right? You don't have to wear a white tank. You can try to do a gray tank. There are a limitless number of colors from which you can choose, and I think it's important to sort of expand your boundaries when you're doing this, when you're along your style journey is to think about like how color can be applied to your wardrobe so that you don't look like
Mm.
you're, a cookie cutter or that you're just kind of generic. You don't want to be generic. You want to kind of like, you know, stand out in the right way, right? Okay, let's talk about this last look. This is obviously winter. Yeah, I'm in love with this coat. I wish I could own it, but I don't even know where it's from.
I think this is one of the first thing I might have like messaged him about. I was like, dude, I love that white coat. I think it looks so good on him, and I think as a bigger guy, I kind of thought if I got something so heavy, would it make me feel like look bigger? But I think he's case in point that he looks so good in it, and I think that's what makes me really like this outfit.
One of the things that I love about this look is that he's playing textures off of one another. Yeah, he's got this herringbone, beautiful top coat. He's got this luxurious dark green cashmere
Yeah.
scarf. He's got these natural yellow work gloves and this red beanie. So there's texture and color play happening all at the same time, which is an easy way to add depth and interest to your looks.
Yeah, this guy nails it every time. It's so good.
Okay, so let's talk about some practical advice that we can give people who might be watching this video to walk away with. We talked a little bit about this before, but in terms of like fit and tailoring advice that you can give or share.
There's two tips I would give. If it comes to pants for bigger guys, I always think it's better to prioritize your legs and how they fit. But I already talked about this, and then things like your waist and the hem, like the length of the pants, are very easy and they're not as expensive to fix. So don't be afraid to go up in waist size to make sure you prioritize your legs. For tops, I think it's a similar rule. I always like to focus on one area that I think is harder. Like if you focus on it and get it right, the other things are easier to kind of adjust. And the tops, I think it's like your shoulder. Especially for me, it's jackets. When my shoulder fits right and my chest fits right, everything else I can adjust. It's like, sometimes usually like my issue is like the sleeves are too long. I kind of fix that. That's not as hard to fix. Um, I think especially for something like a jacket, like you want it to have fit your shoulders so that you can wear stuff under it too to like layer and move really like and not be like I hate that feeling when I lift my arm is like so tight here. I hate that. So it's like you have to kind of make sure you're getting the right shoulder width and chest width. I think are the ones you should prioritize, and everything else is like if you really love the jacket, you can fix it. And I think that applies for shirts, really anything, any top. I always focus on the shoulder.
Okay, I think the next thing that I want to talk about, and this I think is across the board, is synthetic fabrics. I think are not flattering, just across the board are not flattering. So like, if you buy all of your clothes at Lululemon or Vuori, like I'm sorry, I don't think it's flattering on skinny guys, and I certainly don't think it's going to be flattering on larger guys. I
You're crushing some of the guys. Wait, I love that. I love the honesty.
I think it's just super unflattering because at the end of the day, it's plastic. Plastic does not drape on your body. I'm sure it's comfortable, but to me, that's not really like a look. I don't feel like it's intentional. I kind of feel like you're just grabbing things because they're the most comfortable and they're on the floor next to your bed. And like it doesn't look pulled together to me, and it certainly doesn't drape on your body that well. I really, really have a hard time buying that you can style Lululemon pants into something that looks compelling.
Okay, this is what I've told guys like in my own circle, like who like love those kind of like they like just like black shorts, like simple, easy black shorts, and they're like, well, why can't I just wear this with a button up? It's not that they can't, but if they wanted like an upgrade or like to swap, I found success with the Ralph Lauren linen Andrew shorts, I think is what it's called. Pretty sure they're called the Andrew. Yeah, no, they're the Andrew shorts. And I got this one for it was like literally like $12 on eBay. It's like these linen ones. They have a pleat. They're short, and it's like a easy short that I've had for many summers now, and it just looks better and it feels better because it's 100% linen. Like it's gonna feel better on your body because instead of like a plasticky material when it's hot out, it's a little bit more of a leg opening, so there's more airflow, and it looks better. It's an easy swap. So I think guys who love that kind of synthetic stuff, I think they like it for the function and comfort of it, and they believe that like real clothes is less comfortable, but I think that's just not true. You just have to know like what fabrics and what cuts to find.
Yeah, I think that's completely true. I just recently did a video with Nick from Stridewise, and we were talking about summer fabrics. There's a ton of options out there for guys who are more concerned about comfort in like the heat, for example. You do not have to default to these like plasticky fabrics. There's
Mm.
linen, there's hemp, there's cotton linen blends. Let's talk about color. How do you feel about color in terms of like large guy sizes or large guy styles?
Yeah, one of the things I hate that people say is like, "Oh, if you're a bigger guy, just wear all black." Yeah, I was like, "That's your style hack." Look, if you like all black, that's cool. Like, I would do that sometimes, and I think it looks nice. I just think that's so boring, though. Like, color in my mind is such an easy win or easy way to have it be fun, and I think it's boring to just kind of wear all one color. Um, Unless if it's done intentionally well, because there's a monochromatic look where, if you were, let's say we chose blue, like you choose different shades of blue, and it kind of all feels like a cohesive outfit. Um, when I think about color and think like how I approach it when I choose an outfit, though, I do tend to think in like, again, I think it comes to balance. Like I don't wear anything too dark. I try to at least have some contrast and make sure that it feels like it's balanced. Like if I wear like light pants and like white pants and like a really like a like a light yellow shirt, if I'm gonna go with the top, I might go with like a dark denim jacket just because like or like a suede brown jacket or something that's like gonna like it just kind of balance out the lightness, right? And I think when you look at people who dress well, they do that really well. They balance out the colors, the shades, and like making sure it's not like too one note.
Right.
Um, Otherwise, it feels kind of boring.
I think patterns are also great. I love pattern.
Yeah.
I like the rule of like if I'm wearing one pattern piece, I like to keep everything else very, very simple.
I think one thing I heard guys say is like, "Hey, I'd be interested in wearing more color, but I don't know where to start." I think one thing that I've tried to do is like, let's say I get like a shirt with like a few colors on it or something, like I'll use that as inspiration of like what other colors would go well with that to complete the outfit. So like, you know what I mean? Like if your shirt has many colors right now, like yellow, green, blue, right? And so like kind of choosing one lane and then choosing that as like the primary like color and like kind of styling around that, I think can make it feel pretty cohesive. And it's like you can use it as inspiration. I don't think you have to match like to be clear. It's not like if you wear you have to wear like red pants or something, right? Like, but it's, you can use that as inspiration. Like let's say you wear white pants and maybe you choose a red hat to kind of accent like kind of make it feel more cohesive and balanced.
Right.
That's like an easy way that I think I've learned how to like use inspiration on things I have and like incorporate color a little bit more. Like it just like kind of takes a lot of the guesswork out for me of like how do I then approach it versus just like random think of a color.
So let's talk about final styling touches, grooming, accessories, and jewelry. How do you feel about jewelry?
My view on jewelry is like, look, you should, if you're not sure what you like, experiment with the cheaper stuff first, and then invest in like just a couple of things, like a couple of pieces that are like real quality. Like, so if you like gold, get real gold or like silver rolls. I don't know where I'm at comfort level wise is like, I think the simpler the better. Like, for example, like I just like wear one watch and like a ring, and I usually keep it pretty simple. And I think over a lot of trial and error, I kind of I'm realizing, okay, I think less is more for me personally with jewelry. What about you? Are you a jewelry guy?
I'm really not a jewelry guy. I have experimented with that in the past, but I do appreciate jewelry on men because I think it does add a really interesting finishing layer to your look. I think actually all the guys that we looked at and we saw their looks, a lot of them did incorporate jewelry to some degree. And it adds just like another layer of interest and like completes the look in a way that's unique to you. So, I mean, I think for larger guys, I don't think that there's any hard rule here. Like, if you want to rock a couple of chains and a couple of rings and a couple of bracelets, like by all means you should if that's your vibe. But I kind of generally tend to prefer when I see guys wearing like one or two pieces, like to me that's enough. The last thing I want to talk about are accessories, and I don't know how much of an opinion you have on this, but I will say choose your accessories intentionally. Like, don't, the bag that you got for free from that conference that you went to 2 years ago, and that has like, a patch or embroidery on it about the name of the conference, like, don't use that. That looks bad. It looks terrible. It looks stupid. Like, you look like you don't care, and you want to look like you care if you're watching this video and you want to up your style game.
You know the whole like tote bag trend or whatever that's been going around. Like, I've tried. It looks bad on my body. Like, if I try to put a tote bag on my shoulders, it looks like come down to here. It just looks like ill-fitted. You know, it looks like I'm
Yeah.
wearing like a I don't know, like a child's bag. You know, kind of thing. I found success with like really like long stuff. Like, I got this tote bag from a place called American Reboot out here, and they make this like it was made out of like old 107 OG kind of pants, and it like hits me. So I think like for me, I think the rule of like a side bag or bag, if you do want to go that route, I think it should hit around like my like hip area versus
Yeah.
like my torso. Like you got to think about like anything else, like proportion and balance, and does this kind of fit your body?
Yeah.
Um, that's my take on bags.
Filson makes great bags. Really handsome, style endures in that line of
Yeah,
bags for sure. So yeah, I think the bottom line with accessories is don't default to, giveaway bags or tote bags from Brooklinen or wherever the fell, wherever you're getting these things from. Be
yeah,
intentional about them, choose them wisely. I did a whole thing about bags, a whole video about bags, so take a look if you're interested.
I will.
Any closing thoughts here?
I think my only thought on like anything with fashion is like I think it's a journey. Anyone can do it. Like anyone can do it. It just takes time, it takes practice and like developing your taste of what you like. And so like in that process, I think it's like you're going to have some terrible fits and you're going to have things that you're going to look back and laugh at, but that's all part of the fun and journey of it. Like we're not models. We don't have it all figured out. We don't have stylists. So just kind of go with it and figure out like stay true to yourself. Personal style, I think, is like what do you like as an individual? Like what are your real interests and your personality? And what do you like what makes you feel good? Because ultimately all of those things though then how you wear it is gonna then like be how you carry yourself. And that's what personal style is in my opinion. So it's kind of like don't be afraid to start if there's something you want to do. Don't worry. Like I know every guy, fashion guy, who says that they're like maybe they're like so good at dressing. No, like everyone had a story, and like that's mine. It's like fashion should be fun. It shouldn't make you feel excluded or make you feel bad about yourself. I think it's all about exploration and self-expression and fun. So that's the one thing I'll say, and hopefully that resonates. But thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much, Eugene. And as I mentioned at the start of this video, Eugene's Instagram is at euge.park. There is a link to it in the description box below. And thank you, Eugene, for hanging out and talking large guy style. And I think there's a lot to take away from this, and I can't wait to catch up with you again.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Eugene. See
Appreciate
ya.
it. Bye.